My topic or my article was
Okay, try again. Now go ahead.
hi, I'm Maddie, and my article was passionate love and the misattribution of arousal. And the objective and hypothesis of this article was that the objective of the experiments conducted in the study were to provide evidence that the misattribution of arousal facilitates romantic attraction. And the hypothesis was the aroused subjects are more likely to misattribute their arousal for attraction while looking at an attractive female and repulsion to an unattractive female than subjects who were less aroused. So in this article, there were two experiments conducted. And the first one was that the arousal of male subjects was manipulated through exercise. They were then led to a dark video room and were told to watch videos of an unattractive and attractive female confederate. And then the second experiment, they were both kind of similar. They just had some little differences. So the second one was the arousal of the subjects was manipulated in a positive comedy tape or negative mutilation tape, while other subjects heard a non-arousing tape. So they had a positive, a negative, and a neutral video that they were shown. So in the first experiment, 54 male participants volunteered to be a part of an experiment entitled First Attractions. The subjects were randomly assigned to 4 experimental conditions, which were high attractiveness arousal confederates, high arousal unattractive confederates, low arousal attractive confederates, and low arousal unattractive confederates. The subjects were given a number of stimuli such as objects, music, food, pets, and even architecture to help them develop a certain mood. These stimuli would correspond to how they reacted to their female video partner. The subjects then had to run in place for 120 seconds or 15 seconds and report back to the experimenter how much they liked the exercise. The final task of this experiment was to lead the subjects to a dark room to watch a video of on an unattractive or attractive female confederate. They were then to complete 21 items to rate their attractiveness to the female confederate. So the results of experiment 1 was for the exercise portion. It was proven that a higher heart rate led to a higher mood and arousal. If the subjects were already aroused and in a good mood prior to watching these videos, they were likely to give the attractive females a higher rating with the objects. And then I have a chart with the numbers corresponding to the results. I didn't really know how to explain them because it was kind of confusing, but they're there. Like, it basically just explains what I explained in a more in-depth perspective. So in the second experiment, 19 out of 26 male students volunteers were to watch 3 tape selections that were 4 minutes long. These videos were to invoke a positive or negative arousal. This experiment was very similar to the first one, as they were also asked to rate their arousal, physiological arousal, and mood in the same scale. They were to report back to the experimenter and how the tapes made them feel and what they made the subject think about. The results of this experiment was that the negative and positive tapes yielded greater changes in heart rate than the neutral tape, so it kind of corresponds to what happened in experiment 1. Subjects rated themselves as more aroused when listening to the positive and negative tapes. The subjects' moods seemed to be much better after watching the positive comedy tape. Listening to the arousal tapes led to both greater self-reported attention to the tapes and the confederate while viewing the confederate. The effect was stronger when assessing the attention to the partner. The arousing tapes increased the salience of the attractive confederate despite of her unattractiveness. So the mood definitely corresponds to whether or not they were attracted to this female confederate or not, despite of her attractiveness or unattractiveness. So in conclusion, in relation to the topic, I got this directly from the article. Experiment 1 demonstrated that this misattribution effect can be obtained under conditions of neutral arousal. Arousal and confederate attractiveness interacted to enhance attraction when the subject was aroused and the confederate was attractive, and to depress attraction when the subject was aroused and the confederate was unattractive. It should be noted that theoretically, neutral arousal is the quality of the arousal that results when balanced arousal drops below recognition threshold, or when balanced arousal becomes disassociated from the label or an explanation of its cause. Experiment 2 demonstrated that under favorable experimental conditions, the misattribution effect can be obtained under conditions in either negative or positive arousal. This article relates to the topic of affection and attraction because our moods can affect the way we feel about something. If we find something attractive, we think positively about it, and vice versa. There have been many times where we can find something attractive, whether it be a person, place, thing, feeling, or anything else you can think of. And so my discussion questions are, has your mood ever affected the way you felt about something? Why do you think a higher heart rate is associated to being aroused more? And have you ever experienced someone you found attractive do something that altered the way you looked at them? And there is my reference for the article. Thank you.